Welcome everyone. We really wanted to do another cooking video for you guys, and the weather and the temperature has dropped, so you know what that means?
Gumbo season.
It's gumbo season.
This is a straight chicken and sausage gumbo. It's very basic.
So very hearty.
Yes, but it is very, very, very good.
So we're gonna take you through the step-by-step process of it, and let's get in the kitchen and let's get it cooking.
Basically what we got before us is the basic ingredients of any Cajun dish or Creole style dish. We've got the Holy Trinity, onions, celery, bell peppers. We've got the poke, the garlic. And then with chicken and sausage gumbo, we've got Savoy's andouille sausage. It's out of Opelousas, Louisiana.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored. No, this is like, for where we're at, this is the best andouille sausage that I can find. I like things a little more chunky in my gumbo, a little more solid. I know some people are like really, really fine. Some people like a medium dice, some people like a coarser dice. I like somewhere more towards like a medium coarse. Just a personal preference and how I like it. Best thing about Cajun cooking is do it the way you want it. As long as you put love into it, that's the first ingredient that goes into anything that we make is love. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say this is not traditional, and I don't care. I love a little bit of colored bell pepper in my gumbo. I love red and green and orange and yellow peppers. Today we're just doing two. We're doing a red and a green. Just a heads up for you guys, you don't necessarily need 3 pounds. There's a reason we buy 3 pounds, because only about 2.5 pounds of this is going to make it in gumbo.
The rest of it goes in my belly.
It's her fault. So, and again, guys, for our Holy Trinity that we did, ours is a very rough chop. It is a lot chunkier than what most people will do. This is just how we like our gumbo. Everything's said and done. Onions, celery, bell peppers, garlic, and some good andouille sausage. And from here, we will bring you guys over into the kitchen.
So we're in there at 370 for about
hour and a half.
So with any sort of poultry that you cook, it is always good to have a thermometer to make sure that it is done. So what temp are we looking at for inside for cooked poultry, dear?
I shoot 165, so that's...
All right, so it's looking good then. So what did you put on the chickens for seasoning?
Real simple. Salt, pepper, Cajun seasoning, rosemary, a little bit of paprika, garlic and onion powder, and that's it. Just over the top of them, inside out of them. And then I put a quarter of a lemon, or I'm sorry, a quarter of an orange and a quarter of an onion inside them. And then I took some little tangerines, or clementine, excuse me, and squirted on them, dropped those down in the bottom, added some chicken stock into the bottom just to help keep them moist as it cooked. We're fixing to do, we're going to get started on our roux here. I use a medium heat. We've got the old school oven top here. So somewhere between 4 and 5 is where we like it. The way I do my roux, most people say 1 to 1. I find 1 to 1 is a little on the oily side for us. We're going to go with 3/4 of a cup of oil, Get it all out of there. 3/4 of a cup of oil to 1 cup of flour. 1 cup of flour. 1 full cup of flour. And with that, we start to stir. And we're here for the next half hour, 40 minutes or so. 45 minutes maybe. Sometimes, depending on what the temperature is outside, I've seen it take it upwards of an hour. If you make it earlier in the season, I've seen it where it takes no more than 35 minutes to make. So,
why do you say the time of the year makes the difference in
well, so the temperature outside does some stuff with the viscosity of the oil and how well the oil sets and breaks down, how well it responds to heat. Stuff that I don't know a whole lot about, but I do know that it's true because I've made gumbo when it has been warmer outside, and I've made it on days like today. Today I figured it'll take probably 40 minutes or so if I had to guess. But yeah, just slowly but surely. We've got this blonde color right now, and we'll go from this to basically a dark chocolate, almost burnt, as close to burnt as we can get it without actually burning it. And I'm gonna tell you this, you ain't ever made a roux till you burned a roux, and I have burned more than one.
All right, everyone. So I pretty much went at this chicken like a savage. I'm sure there are much nicer, easier, neater ways to do this, but I just cannibalized it. So there's little bits and pieces still on this, but once it's within the gumbo, it's gonna turn into nothing. So you want to try to get some good big chunks of pieces, and that's about what we got out of 2 whole roasted chickens.
Yep. And one thing that we may do is we may take like some of the bones, like chicken or like some of the wings right here, and we may put those in it when we cook it, but that way we can fish those out whenever we get ready to serve it. That way you don't have the bones and the cartilage and stuff floating around in there.
So my biggest thing about like the thighs within the gumbo is that it breaks down. Those bones will break down, and you can't always fish everything out. So you're eating your bowl of gumbo and then you crunch down on some cartilage or some leftover bone, and it completely ruins the experience, which is why I prefer doing either chicken breasts or whole chickens, tearing it apart and putting it within the gumbo like this.
So as you can see, the gumbo has started, or the roux has started to change colors a little bit. We have gone from that blonde color, we're getting closer to almost a tan color now. So bringing you back in, you can tell we're getting closer. We're not there yet. We've been at this for about 30 minutes now, but it is starting to get some pretty good color in it. We're getting to a more of a, I don't want to say milk chocolate. This is more of a caramel, like a dark caramel color. And then we have browned off all the sausage at this point. You cannot rush, well, you can rush this. There are several people out there. Isaac Toops does a really good one, like a 6-minute roux. I don't have confidence in my abilities to do that because you get your oil screaming hot and then you put your flour in, and I mean within 6 or 7 minutes, I mean it's ready to roll and put your Holy Trinity in. I don't have the confidence in myself to do that. So, guys, we're just sitting here talking and joking around, and we just want to give you something for reference.
Well, I was like, he goes, what do you think that is? Milk chocolate? And I go,
no.
Hang on a minute. Let me grab something. It's a chocolate kiss, you guys. That's milk chocolate. That don't look anything like that quite yet.
No.
And now we eat it.
You're going to get to this. You're going to get to this milk chocolate. And then just past this to me, is where you get the best flavor.
Chocolate and sausage. Could a girl get any happier right now?
Right? So this has been on for 48 minutes. We put this on at 3 o'clock.
So if you're looking for something quick, this ain't it.
Yeah.
It is a little time consuming, but filled with love.
So I'm going to say we're there. You want to keep stirring that for me?
Yeah, I can.
So, in goes the vegetables.
Here, you guys got a nice facial.
Stir for me, please. Can you hand me the... Yep. So these little things are really handy when it comes to after you put this in, because you got to get it mixed around. And again, this is a little chunky, more chunky than what most people will usually do. But this is how we like
Get
our
your
gumbo.
full serving of vegetables, you guys.
That's it. Let this cook down for about 8 or 9 minutes now. Maybe 12. We'll see how they're looking. So I've got this at about a 4 right now on the heat. But
so your range is going to differ what you have. We have an electric, one of those spiral coils, so I know it does not quite heat as evenly if you have a gas top.
yeah.
So just be aware of that if you're just starting out, that each range, their temps are different.
Yep. Okay, guys. We're back. So our veggies have been on for about 12 minutes now. Just want it malleable. You don't want a whole lot of resistance when you push down on it. You want to be able to move it.
It's kind of tacky, like. I think that's another way to kind of describe it.
Yep. So before we put the chicken broth in, drop our garlic in real quick. It's about 5 cloves. We like a fair amount of garlic in our lives.
Yep, garlic and onion.
Yep. So what I do is I'll mix this in and give this about 1 minute or so to get itself situated and worked into the trinity that we
now
have
the
in
reason
here.
why we didn't add the garlic anytime sooner, because it'll burn, and you don't want burnt garlic. Nothing worse than that.
Yeah. So I'm using chicken broth. You can use chicken broth or chicken stock. We're using the chicken broth. It's got less sodium in it. You're going to do 2 32-ounce containers. Now at this point your roux is going to look all broken up. Don't worry. It is okay. This is going to cook down, and this is exactly what you want. Alright. So now is when I like to season my gumbo. So I bring this up to medium heat, about a 5 or 6, somewhere around there. And the season that I use is very basic. Okay. So I use 3 tablespoons of your favorite Creole seasoning. Today we're going to use just a little bit of kosher sea salt, about a 1/2 teaspoon. And then I will use regular salt as well. I use a sea salt, but in a grinder. And I'll do another 1/2 teaspoon. And then about...
So if you're trying to watch your sodium.
Yeah. Now you can cut some of this back.
Yeah, which is why we use the chicken broth with less sodium. I like particularly buying the broth with less sodium. That way you can salt it and flavor it with your liking on how much you want in it.
About 2 tablespoons of pepper, and then just a little bit of onion powder, maybe a teaspoon, 3/4 of a teaspoon onion powder, Same, I use a little bit of granulated garlic just to, again, we like a garlic flavor. You don't have to put this in. This is just a personal touch for us. About half a teaspoon. So traditionally I'll put a couple of bay leaves in this as well.
But we are low on stock.
Yeah.
Didn't realize.
Yep, I just realized we were out. I always have bay leaves and I don't. So it's okay. Now, if you want to kick the spice up on this, now would be when you would add either your cayenne or your chipotle, whatever your preferred pepper is. So, sorry for the short technical difficulty there. My cayenne pepper was with my crab boil stuff. I did a crab boil for a friend of mine a couple of weeks ago. But I put just ever such a small amount.
That much? You think that much makes a difference, huh?
I do.
Okay. Well, also the sausage has
the andouille sausage that we use.
Very big kick to it.
Yeah.
So if you're sensitive to spice, you still like spice, but like you don't want a lot of that heat.
You can choose a different sausage. Like I said, we used andouille. I mean, any smoked sausage.
But there's different varieties of andouille as far as heat level goes, though. He says no. I've seen a difference.
Okay, so we've let this cook for about 5 or 6 minutes now. So next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add our chicken and sausage. So we'll put chicken in first.
Yeah. There goes the spoon.
So this is about 4.5 pounds, 4 pounds of chicken is what we came out with.
Yay, on my shirt.
Oh. So there's that, and then we're going to put 2.5 pounds of sausage in.
Right to the top.
So one other thing is you can cut all of this in half if you want to. We make this much because we like to freeze it. Once it's done cooking, we'll let it cool. We'll put it in the fridge overnight, let it cool off, and then the next day about half of what's left will freeze. And that way if you get by and one evening you need just something quick, grab some gumbo, heat it up, warms the soul. So the reason that we have to move this over is you got to add about 3.5 cups of water. So some people say 4. I think 4 waters it down just a little bit too much personally. I love 3.5 cups is just perfect for us.
So our big stock pot we got at Walmart for I think like $10.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry if like you think like you're gonna break the bank and buying a big stock pot.
Nope. And you just gotta do what you gotta do. I mean, this is what we have to do to be able to cook one of our favorite dishes, and we do it and just get some great flavor out. All right, so I've got it down a little bit. I will pick this up and we'll bring you guys back in once we finish moving it over. My lovely wife will begin stirring. At this point, we turn it down to about a 1 or a 2.
So yeah, the stock pot as well is very thin at the bottom.
Yeah.
So unlike a thicker cast iron. So you're gonna wanna really turn that down because otherwise you're gonna have burnt gumbo at the very bottom and nobody likes that.
Yeah. All right, so 3.5 cups of cool water.
Oh, I accidentally put the spoon over there.
And with this, we stir it. Get everything nice and mixed up. I like just a little taste, just to kind of see where we're starting. It's got a really good flavor to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if you taste this, this is not going to taste what your finished product tastes like.
No, you gotta let it sit for a bit.
So, If you want an okay gumbo, you simmer it for 1 hour. You want a really good gumbo, you simmer that bad boy for 2. And with that being said, we are gonna
on the lid goes.
Put the timer on.
And we will come back when it's ready.
So one other thing is periodically through this, you are gonna come over here and stir it. I suggest in the beginning about every 10 or 15 minutes. As it gets longer into the cook, about every 20 minutes or so, 30 minutes. All right, guys, here it is. Nice and hot and oh, so beautiful.
All right, you guys, you're never gonna believe this. After a long day of cooking, I think I might have been a bit delirious because I forgot to hit the record button, I think, for our outro. And I don't have any footage from that. But the gumbo turned out amazing. It was absolutely delicious. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did and you want to see more cooking videos or just what we do on our crazy, extraordinary, ordinary life, be sure to hit that like button and be sure to subscribe. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.